So I just started doing the Detox Dudes course, and lesson one is talking about the different types of water you can have, and he ranks them with spring water being number one, then distilled water, then reverse osmosis filtered water, then like a Brita filter, and then at the very bottom is your tap water. And the tap water is at the bottom because it can have dissolved solids in it. It can have pharmaceutical and other drugs left in it from when the water gets filtered from people peeing it out. And right now I'm currently in the process of cleaning up some of my glass kombucha bottles so that I can find a spring near me and then fill them up with that. And right now I'm just pouring some boiling water inside to remove any soap residue from when I clean them. I'm going to be finding the spring on findaspring.org, which I will link in the description, and I'll keep you updated and let you know, do I notice any effects? Do I feel better? What are my thoughts on, is it worth it to go to a spring and drive that distance in order to get filtered water? Well, not filtered, in order to get live water that has the natural minerals that we should be consuming. I'm also doing an experiment of eliminating non-stick pans, plastic water bottles, and switching over to just my stainless steel, I think it's a Yeti, but stainless steel travel mug, and then using stainless steel pans in the kitchen, which I thought was going to be more of an issue, but it's surprisingly easy to clean a stainless steel pan, which is not what they'd have you think. Anyways, we got a half-hour car ride, and I'm gonna fill these jugs up, and we're gonna see if I can notice a difference over the next week or two of drinking mineral water. I do have a reverse osmosis set up at my house in order to filter our tap water, and that is very, very good water, but as he mentioned in the guide, it's not mineralized. So you lose a lot of the magnesium, the sodium, the zinc, the calcium within the water itself. And I have to then take supplements. Like I take magnesium 1 to 3 grams a day. I know I won't get all of that from the water, but maybe my electrolytes will be a little bit more even out, and I won't need to supplement as much with zinc supplements and sodium supplements and calcium supplements if I can get this from eating more natural foods. And I think Steve Jobs has this amazing quote. He's like, you can either make your food your medicine, or your medicine will become your food. If you eat healthy, naturally sourced food that has good nutrition, it's not mass produced, then you can get a lot of the vitamins you need from it. But when you move to more processed foods, more big agriculture, where they're having all these issues with soil quality, and I actually took a class at UMass Amherst on soil farming, and the professor was just talking about how you have to, the soil is gone. Like, the nutrients from the soil that we farm is gone because we don't do regenerative practices. We just don't anymore. Each year they have to put all the chemicals, all the phosphorus, all the nitrogen, all the magnesium, there's 16, I think, essential elements for plants to grow. But they need to put all of that into the soil because the plants suck it back out. So the soil itself, like the dirt, is literally just being used as like the medium for it to grow, but it has no nutrients within it, and the nutrients gets injected and mixed into the soil each year. So we wind up with these fruits and vegetables that just don't have the same amount of nutrition that our ancestors had. The food that your parents ate and their parents before them was more nutritious than the food that you eat today. That's why you see like milk with vitamin D, or like some breakfast cereal with added iron. It's because we're missing these within our diet, and they try to add supplements into it. Anyways, I am on this journey to see what changes I notice, how it benefits me, and how sustainable the practice is within my own life. Do I have the time to drive an hour once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks? I don't know for sure, to go pick up water. Or I think this might be on the way back from church, so I might be able to go pick up water on Sundays right after church, in which case this would be a very sustainable practice and I could easily fit it into my schedule. So I'll catch you guys once I get there, but peace out for now. Okay, so we just got here, and unfortunately the source of... wait. Yeah, that's locked. So the water comes from down there, and right now there is little fill stations right here. Apparently you can also buy bottles. So if you're in Massachusetts, I definitely consider coming to this place. Okay, so I had the guy who was just here show me how to use it, but apparently you load in the dollar, you then hit the little button right there, and you want to line this up correctly. I mean, I'm assuming that each place that does it is going to have their own little method, but once it comes out, it usually sprays water a little bit, so I have this nice handy towel with me so I can dry it off and put it back in the box that I get the glasses in, and that way I can transfer them so I'm making the cardboard wet and stopping the glasses from clicking together. I do need to buy new lids to these bottles, so in the meantime I have a little bit of saran wrap with an elastic band to put over it. I know I'm using plastic, but not as worried about the tiny amount of plastic that might come up and splash the saran wrap, and it's also cold water, so I think it should be fine. But I'm gonna go and buy some actual lids to these things. So yep. I just finished up at the fill station, and the total was $20 for 16 gallons of water, which is a little more expensive than I thought it was going to be, because the website, at least findspring.org, said that it's supposed to be 75 cents, but that was also back in like 2018 when the post was made, so I'll probably update the website when I get home. But slightly disappointed that I couldn't go and fill it up from the actual spring itself, and I think I'm going to make part 2 to this video where I fill them up in Vermont from an actual spring and compare the water. But for now, this is closer to where I live and not as inconvenient as driving about 2 hours to Vermont. So we'll see how it goes, and if I really like this, then I might get a couple more gallons and go all the way up to Vermont, or maybe someplace up in New Hampshire, where at that point it would be economical for me to actually drive to a place that I could fill them up naturally without paying. Because so far, just a rough estimate, valuing my time at $20 an hour, it would have taken me an extra hour to took me an hour to go here versus 3 hours to Vermont, so saved like $40 at least when comparing time to money, and that's on the very low side of a dollar figure, because I think you make $19 working at Wendy's right now. So at least by where I live you can. Anyways, I'm gonna look for a spot to pull over in a second and give you guys a taste test, first impressions, and let you know what are my thoughts. Is this better? Is it gonna taste better just because I drove farther to get it? Or is it actually like more nutritious? Can I taste or feel the energy of the water or the life within it? So I have the water right here. First impressions are tastes like water. I'm like, yeah, no. It has a slight mineral aftertaste to it, but it's not quite as good as water I've had from streams up in Vermont and New Hampshire in the mountains. It's very similar. It's like almost identical to my reverse osmosis water, but there's a slight aftertaste to it. There's no smoothness that you'd get if it had a nice amount of magnesium in it. It does have a little bit more sodium because I can taste the salt a tiny bit. At least now that in the aftertaste I can feel the salt a little. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I'll keep track of the electrolytes I take over the next week, and I'll see if I decrease at all. But as of now, I'm not the biggest fan of this source. I don't think the water tastes too much better than my own filtered water. I do think water from streams up in Vermont tastes way better than my filtered water. But there's also a lot of other locations I can try, which I will be doing.